does sexuality have to be talked about in such a negative? Every
Right.
single film, every single show, every single thing that people watch out there has these things in it. Every show has people kissing. What's the big deal? In the beginning of my career, there were a few times where I literally had to step out and because I didn't have anybody, give myself my own pep talk and say, you're gonna excuse my language, pull your shit together, Sonny, and you're gonna go back in there, put a smile on your face and get the job done. I would go down the street, buy myself an award that says, this is the award for patience, because I should get one. You should get one now because you're going to need a lot of patience later, 10 years later. And I think many mothers out there feel that same sort of separation anxiety. What do you mean you don't need me today? What do you mean you are busy?
Yeah.
I need to see you. A lot of people out there think that it just happens overnight, and it doesn't. It's been 10 years, and I am so happy about everything that's happened. Even
Yes.
the good and the bad, because out of the bad came something good. I had this one employer when I was about 16, 17 years old. I worked at a tax retirement firm, and I watched this woman walk in with nothing but grace and poise, and she was very powerful, and the whole office was so scared of her when she walked in, and her opinions and everything that she said. And I remember watching her and saying, I don't want my people who work with me to be scared of me, but I do want to feel like she does, like she's the boss. My aim in life is not to teach anybody or preach anything.
Okay.
It's more to just, hopefully just be myself, and maybe someone might learn a thing or two.
Joining us today is Sunny Leone. By now, most of us have watched the trailer of Anamika, and Sunny, I have to congratulate you because Anamika looks so different, so intriguing, because it has Sunny exacting revenge on people who've done her all wrong. So people can now clearly expect action, adventure, and Sunny at her badass best. Right?
Thank you. Thanks. I hope so. I've been getting great responses, which is really nice. And the people around me, friends, family, our entire team who've seen, episodes of the show, because I showed it to them, they like it and they're happy and proud. And I think when you make something, you never know whether the public's going to like it or not. But so far, everyone who's watched bits and pieces or an episode has been giving some really great responses. I've always loved action. I've always liked shooting action. I've always liked watching it. It's one of my favorite genres. Getting a chance to do it and work with Vikram sir and work with, the fight masters and everybody, it was amazing. I learned a lot. I understood so much of what they were doing and had fun doing it, and they would add in things or add an extra fight scene because it just went well. And I made a point where I wanted to do almost all the action by myself unless Vikram sir said it is too dangerous and you cannot do this. But other than that, I tried my very best to do everything. And I think that sir had chosen this gun fu and this type of fighting because it was more real, and instead of it being, hopefully it doesn't look fake. But we did a lot of the action together, fighting, punching, and everything that happened.
And it's not just the serious, Sunny, where you come across as a strong woman in personal life too. You've been lauded, for the stand that you take. And in fact, you've also taught men a thing or two. Would that interpretation be right?
Hopefully I'm a good teacher. My aim in life is not to teach anybody or preach anything. More to just, hopefully just be myself, and maybe someone might learn a thing or two.
Yes. But, the fact that, you have a very clear stance and everything, does that sort of intimidate men? Have you also intimidated men because of your very strong stance on issues and the ethics that you live by?
I think so.
Yes.
I think it might bother a couple of people.
Really?
But I'm a Taurus. I have horns. You can't see them. They're invisible. And I am I can only be right type of person. Well, why would I ever be wrong? First of all, I think it just comes down to, people might think being strong is intimidating, and it can be. I know when I meet somebody and you can just feel that they have a very strong presence, you feel intimidated. And I never want somebody to feel that around me, but maybe it happens.
Sunny, it was in 2011 that you kicked off your journey as a Bollywood star. What advice, after so many years, would Karanjeet Kaur Vohra like to give to Sunny Leone after surviving and carving a niche and gaining massive popularity in the showbiz industry?
I would go down the street. I live in Mumbai. I live in Andheri West. I would go down the street, buy myself an award that says, this is the award for patience. Because I should get one. You should get one now because you're going to need a lot of patience later, 10 years later. I don't know about what I would say. I mean, every single day is different. Every situation shaped this entire journey that's happened. And I wouldn't necessarily say that you should take away X, Y, Z because it was a bad experience. But from that experience, something good had come out of it.
We've always appreciated you for the dignity with which you conduct yourself, Sunny. After doing several different projects, do you still think people are judgmental? How do you ensure that you do not let people get the better of you?
It's as simple as that. You just don't let them get the better of you. And there were times, even in the beginning of my career, there were a few times where I literally had to step out and because I didn't have anybody, give myself my own pep talk and say, you're gonna excuse my language, pull your shit together, Sunny, and you're gonna go back in there, put a smile on your face and get the job done. So with that said, there's, many situations like that happen where you have to pull it together and move forward and just do the best that you can do.
And these pep talks really helped you? Because there's so many women out there, who are trying to make it big, all on their own without any support, despite being judged. So,
I think it comes down to what the definition of make it big means. And I think it also comes down to what are your expectations? Are they reasonable? What are those goals? Are they reasonable? And if you think that something's going to happen overnight, you have to first of all take that out of your head. It's not going to. You have to put in the time and you have to put in the work, and you have to sometimes, I wouldn't say take shit. I would say you have to go through certain experiences to grow. And some people might say, I'm a victim of XYZ and they treated me badly, or this and this happened. But there were moments leading up to that bad experience. Maybe we could have changed with experience, or maybe we could have changed with time in the industry. So lots of things happen in a regular, like an office job, or if you work at a mall, or you work, in construction. So many different things happen in every single field of work. And we have to learn from them with field experience. That's why it's called experience. And a lot of people out there think that it just happens overnight, and it doesn't. It's been 10 years, and I am so happy about everything that's happened, even the good and the bad, because out of the bad came something good.
In fact, you had once said that you're very conservative in your personal life. Now, as a mother, you have 3 beautiful kids. Has that also made you vulnerable as an individual?
I know that the life that I've set up for them and their entire days, it's all planned out because I have OCD. And I know what they're doing at every single part of the day. In that way, their happiness and security is set. They're in a very safe environment, and that's all there. Now, my own insecurities of having separation anxiety because I want to see them. That's, a different story. And I think many mothers out there feel that same sort of separation anxiety. What do you mean you don't need me today? What do you mean you are busy?
Yeah.
I need to see you. I mean, with children, I think that as time goes by, we have to take each situation as a separate situation and not put everything together.
I was in fact, watching Ragini MMS2 a few days back, and there was this dialogue in the film. Porno se ritu porno, kab se ban gayi. This was that one dialogue, that was used in the film. Do you think, Sunny, you are now in a position where producers and directors would want to explore the actor in you and not necessarily focus, let's say, on your dancing prowess or the physique? It's more about your acting prowess now.
Well, I think that's a very interesting question because I don't view myself like that. And I don't view myself as, when people put it in this type of question. I view myself as someone who's been an actor for the last 10 years in this industry. And whether the role was to be sexy or whether the role was to be serious, whether the role was to do XYZ, it doesn't, I don't see myself like that.
Okay.
And I don't see my life like that as something as like a mistake that I should have done these types of roles or that type of role. As far as putting in, again, it goes back to one of your other questions. It was about putting in time, and it was about growing as, either an artist or an actor or somebody who's, still around. Sometimes I think that if you just stick around long enough and say, I'm still here, I'm available, somebody will come, by and offer you something amazing. There's been roles that I've done that have been more conservative.
But do filmmakers, even now, they tweak sequences just to cash in on your experience, earlier with the adult film industry? Do these things still happen, that your sequences are tweaked, given it a different color altogether?
It's all based on what you're comfortable with doing and what you're not doing. Why does sexuality have to be talked about in such a negative? Every single film, every single show, every single thing that people watch out there has these things in it. Every show has people kissing. What's the big deal? I mean, everybody has to get over it already.
March 8 is the Women's Day. There are a lot of women out there who are, who just kicked off their career. They have to battle a lot of, whether it's sexism, whether it's parity, the pay gap, and all such issues at work. What would your advice be to all the women out there who are battling these issues, who have big dreams to achieve, so that they don't ever feel depressed, and they don't ever feel that I might not be able to convert my dreams into reality?
Well, I think that for all the women out there, each situation is obviously different. If there's something illegal happening, obviously you should report it. If somebody is hurting you physically or torturing you mentally, you should definitely report it to your boss. As far as the other things that you mentioned, I think that if we start focusing on ourselves and our craft and not expect things to just happen, if you put your time in, you work hard. Something that I noticed here is someone who knows their job really well in India, and someone who is very technically correct in how they function and how they work, whether they're a man or a woman, tend to move up on the totem pole. And let's say maybe it might take someone a short amount of time to do that, and it might take yourself a little bit longer. But I promise you, most employers do see someone who is loyal, someone who's hardworking, someone who puts in the time. And that's what this world is all about, because there are so many people here and there's someone right behind you who wants your job. Now, how bad do you want your job, and how hard are you going to work? And are you going to show up on time? And are you going to do your job? Are you going to be technically correct in how you, are you going to have those customer skills that it takes to put yourself ahead in the office. I had this one employer when I was about 16, 17 years old. I worked at a tax retirement firm, and I watched this woman walk in with nothing but grace and poise, and she was very powerful, and the whole office was so scared of her when she walked in, and her opinions and everything that she said. And I remember watching her and saying, I don't want my employers, people who work with me, to be scared of me, but I do want to feel like she does, like she's the boss. And that was at a very young age that I saw this. And I remember watching her work and saying, I want to be like this woman when I grow up.
And I think the power that you exude on the big screen, Sunny, you clearly are the big boss. And we would,
in my house at least.
and you would want this journey to be incredible in all the years that you're going to be part of this showbiz industry. We want more such interesting projects, different genres for you to sort of, experiment in and keep entertaining your fans. Thank you so much, Sunny, for your time.
Thank you so much.